So there we are, The Miz. The Miz. I don't usually, whenever we do these watch-alongs, I don't usually do like a follow-up or a brief breakdown. But I mean, when you go off the air like that, you have to talk about it, don't you? So we're going to talk about this briefly. As you can see right there, we have a brand new WWE champion, that being The Miz, because The Miz has cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase successfully this time. Not like at TLC where it was actually John Morrison that did it for him, but The Miz has successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. The Miz is the brand new WWE champion. So what happened? Well, if you haven't seen it, or if you're watching this after the fact, whatever, basically what happened was Drew McIntyre retained the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber match. He wasn't the first people into the match. That was Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, but he outlasted everyone else. Last eliminated AJ Styles to retain his WWE Championship. But as the chamber was rising, the battered and beaten Drew McIntyre was viciously attacked by the former United States champion Bobby Lashley. I say former because Lashley lost the United States Championship earlier on in the night in a triple threat match to Riddle, in a match, ironically, that also involved The Miz's tag team partner John Morrison. So before the main event, we saw something that was very curious. Before the main event, we saw The Miz talking to MVP backstage. Now, a lot of people thought, oh, is this going to be a red herring? What's this going to be? Well, in reality, it was foreshadowing what was to come, because what was to come was that after the match, out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre was attacked by Bobby Lashley. He was speared. He was thrown around ringside. He had the Hurt Lock locked in on him. A full Nelson slam, and then Bobby Lashley did the slow turn. Then after the slow turn, what happened? The Miz's entrance music hit. After his entrance music hit, he ran down to the ring, cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. The Miz then hits a DDT on Drew McIntyre. McIntyre kicks out, but Miz doesn't panic. He then hits a skull-crushing finale, and then we have a new WWE champion in The Miz. The Miz is the brand new WWE champion. And look, it's surprising. There's no doubt it's surprising. Obviously, it's surprising. I felt, to be honest, I felt that The Miz would probably cash in after WrestleMania. I know that they have Money in the Bank is in May. They have till May. I felt like for the past 12 months, I felt like for the last 12 months that, frankly, when it comes to the Money in the Bank briefcase, it just felt like if there was ever a year to skip it and just go, forget it, it was this year, because obviously it was meant to be Otis. Those plans didn't work out. They decided to go in a different direction. They went with The Miz. I felt that at the time, The Miz was a safe bet to give the briefcase to, because it didn't matter what happened. The Miz could win the WWE Championship and he would be fine to go into that role. He could also lose the Money in the Bank briefcase, and really it wouldn't matter that much. That's what really could have happened. And when they did the whole cash-in thing at TLC, I felt at the time of, well, it was one of those things. I'm not sure if I expected The Miz to become WWE Champion anyway, whatever. And then when they gave the briefcase back, it kind of felt like, okay, it's the same situation as before. If he wins it, he can maybe step into the role. If he loses it, it doesn't hurt him. It's The Miz. He's been around for 15 years at this point. He's bulletproof, that kind of stuff. So that was the situation there. So I felt that he would cash it in after WrestleMania, because you always feel around this time of the year the plans are kind of set in stone, but that's not the case. So we'll check the chat quickly. Wrestling Universal's podcast says, desperation from Vince McMahon to have a new champion. Sheamus Morn says, I hate Bobby. Undisputed Productions say, hey, love your jacket. I'm a BJJ guy to represent. You can see the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu jacket there. It's actually the one CM Punk wore, Payback 2013. So yeah, we have a new WWE champion. If you are new to the channel, by the way, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, smash a like on the like button. Super chats are also open. You can contribute and support the channel through the $sign. It would be much appreciated. So yes, as you can see there, if you're just joining right now, we have a new WWE champion in The Miz. Cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase against Drew McIntyre. Now, it's interesting, of course, isn't it? Because it's 10 years. It's 10 years that pretty much the same thing happened with The Miz 10 years ago. Not exactly, because obviously The Miz cashed in November previously. It wasn't this close to WrestleMania, but this was the situation. The Miz cashed in 10 years ago on Randy Orton, an episode of Monday Night Raw. And then what happened? He main evented WrestleMania as the WWE Champion, retained, beat John Cena that night. That was his only WWE Championship reign. It's been 10 years and he hasn't had another WWE Championship reign. And there certainly have been periods where he absolutely deserved to have he absolutely deserved to have a future WWE Championship reign, and it never happened. And I think it felt like for a lot of people for a while that it probably wouldn't happen again. And what are my immediate thoughts on this? You know, I'm not totally against it. I'm not totally against it. I'm really not. I'm surprised that they did it in the sense that Drew McIntyre's been booked so strongly, and frankly, you know, the way he lost the title tonight, Drew McIntyre, it didn't really hurt him in that sense. The guy went through Elimination Chamber, he got the hell beaten out of him by Bobby Lashley. In reality, let's face it, when it comes to still a very big chance Drew McIntyre might be the WWE Champion, or at the very least winning back said WWE Championship. So let's not be shocked. Let's not be shocked here that if this time in 4 weeks' time at the end of Fastlane, Drew McIntyre's not holding up that WWE Championship. This could be an attempt by WWE, frankly, to maybe spike a rating. A new champion always has people interested. It also feels like, you know, people watching this will be interested in Raw tomorrow night. They'll be interested to see where we go with it because, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not out of the realm of possibility that tomorrow night at Monday Night Raw, that they switch the title back. I mean, they've done it before. They did it a couple of times in the Attitude Era. I think, you know, Steve Austin and Kane. They do that sometimes if they want to spike a rating, if they want to shock people, if they want to keep people on their toes. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked with that. So you can't rule that out. And again, I'm a fan of The Miz. I know some people might not like him. I know some people don't think he's good in the ring. I think he has been one of the most consistent performers for WWE for 15 years. For 15 years. This guy has been around a long, long time. I mean, talk about consistency of a high level of performance, a high level of cutting promos, the work he does for WWE inside and outside of the ring. You know, not being injured. When was the last time The Miz had an injury? He didn't. And everything he gets thrown at him, he just catches it, takes the ball and runs with it. I mean, you can't. I think I'm not going to say he deserves it or anything like that because I think that's so cliche and I hate to say that kind of stuff. But I think it's an interesting one. I'm not going to be one of those people that initially just goes, it's terrible decision WWE, terrible. It's interesting. And look, if this is just a transitional situation, if this is a transitional situation whereby it might be a way to get the title on Bobby Lashley, and we're going to have Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, I'm fine with it. You have to think of the storyline ramifications. The Miz was talking to MVP backstage. What did MVP say to The Miz? Did the MVP say to The Miz, look, Bobby Lashley can take out The Miz. If Bobby Lashley then can Bobby Lashley take out Drew McIntyre? If Bobby Lashley takes out Drew McIntyre and you can cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase, you can become WWE Champion. The first person who deserves a match for that WWE title is Bobby Lashley. And then if Bobby Lashley destroys The Miz, Bobby Lashley is the WWE Champion. Then you go on to WrestleMania and you have Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. So I think it's, again, this is the thing sometimes with pro wrestling fans. We ask for different sometimes. We ask for things to be shocking. We ask for things to go off the airs of pay-per-views on a cliffhanger. We ask to be shocked. We ask to be entertained. And then when we get something different, or when we get something that is a little bit what we didn't expect, we then complain. And you can't have it both ways. Sometimes you can't. So I'm not going to poo-poo on it. I think it's interesting. I think Miz has long deserved another opportunity to be WWE Champion. If there's anyone in that company for the work they've put in over the years, for the career that they've had, deserves to be WWE Champion again, I think it's The Miz. This was the guy, you know, earlier on in the night. It's funny how WWE decides to book these things, isn't it? Because, you know, this is the guy that earlier on in the night was getting slapped by Bad Bunny. You know, think of it. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, 24/7 champion versus WWE champion. The Miz versus Bad Bunny. I mean, I'm scared to put that out into the universe because it might be a possibility, because this is another reason why, again, and I mentioned this before, that I don't think come WrestleMania time The Miz will be WWE champion, is because The Miz is going to be facing Bad Bunny. It's going to be The Miz and John Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. We know that's happening. I mean, that's pretty much been everywhere. And how else do they get around that now? So again, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked that this title reign doesn't last long, as they say for that upcoming Suicide Squad movie. Don't get too attached with the Miz being WWE champion, because again, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know if he is going to be WWE champion for long. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 weeks' time, the Miz isn't the WWE champion. I think if you think about what is going to happen in 4 weeks' time with Fastlane is the first event that's going to be on Peacock, the NBC Universal streaming platform. They want to have a big match going on to that, and Drew McIntyre chasing the championship, or having a big moment of Drew McIntyre winning back the WWE Championship, would be a big deal on the Peacock streaming service. Ratings for Raw. Eventually, they've got to have the Miz cash in, I think. And they used to do this quite a bit with John Cena. You have to remember this. They used to do this quite a bit with John Cena around WrestleMania season. How many times did we see John Cena lose the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship right around Elimination Chamber, No Way Out, or the Royal Rumble, around that period of time? Why did they do that? Because Cena, like a lot of other champions, was better in the chase, and they wanted to have Cena win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. How many years in a row did they do it? They did it at WrestleMania 25. What did they have? Cena, he won the WWE Championship. He lost a championship right at, around that period of time. Remember, No Way Out that year. They had it the following year at the Elimination Chamber. He won the WWE Championship. Batista came out, won the title. What did he have? He had him chasing it at WrestleMania. I think, once again, you have to remember what happened to Drew McIntyre last year. Drew McIntyre last year won the WWE Championship in front of 0 people at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. That whole point prior to the pandemic was to give Drew McIntyre this big opportunity give this big moment, rather, for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, to crown him. This is the new guy. This is the guy that's going to be the next big thing. He's our next big babyface. That was the point of that at WrestleMania. And of course, because of the pandemic, because of the circumstances, because of no fans, it wasn't possible. That couldn't happen. So they want to do that again. And if Drew McIntyre isn't champion between now and WrestleMania, there's a reason behind that. Because he'll become champion at WrestleMania and he'll get that big moment. I think that's probably where they're going to go with that one. So if you're interested, or you're happy, or you're excited that The Miz has become WWE champion, smash a like on the like button. If you are new to the channel, I can see we've got a lot of people watching right now and commenting in the chat. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Click that notification bell. We post daily videos talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all that fun stuff. We do watch-alongs that we just did for Elimination Chamber. We'll be doing watch-alongs for AEW Revolution, Impact Rebellion, of course, WrestleMania, Fastlane. So if you subscribe now, click that notification bell, you'll be notified when we post our daily videos and go live for our watch-alongs. You can contribute to the channel as well. Super chats are open. Click the $sign. And if you want to support the channel, contribute to the channel, it would be much appreciated. So that is the big news. That really is the big news. I can see the chat is really popping off, which is great. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, what does everyone think that The Miz is going to do tomorrow night on Raw? Could we see a 24-hour title reign? Could we see The Miz drop the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night to Drew McIntyre? Do we think that The Miz is going to hold it until WrestleMania? Do we think The Miz is going to face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? Personally, I don't, because I think The Miz is going to face Bad Bunny and Damian Priest along with John Morrison at WrestleMania. I think The Miz will probably drop the title at Fastlane, but frankly, even if it lasts a month, and The Miz drops the title at Fastlane, to have The Miz be WWE Champion 10 years later, to have him in the mix once again, it's different. And if anyone deserves it, it's The Miz. And again, I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, you deserve it, all that kind of stuff, because that's not, I hate that chant, oh, you deserve it, all that kind of stuff. But if there is really anyone that deserves it, it would be someone like The Miz. It really would be. It really would be. And I know people are going to talk about ratings and all that kind of stuff tomorrow night, and it will be interesting. Will the ratings go up tomorrow? Will the viewership go up? You know what? I don't even know if stuff like this affects it anymore because of the way that television is consumed in 2021. I always say this when we talk about ratings. When it comes to television ratings, people, how many people actually watch live TV anymore? Do they DVR it? They watch it illegally. They watch it on YouTube. They watch it on social media. All of that stuff factors into it. But there's going to be a bit of buzz. I mean, social media is buzzing about it now. Social media is talking about The Miz being WWE champion. It makes people think, oh, WWE going into this completely different direction, this close to WrestleMania and all this kind of stuff. So it really is interesting. It really is interesting, and it's piqued my curiosity. It's piqued my curiosity. Again, I don't think it's going to last a long time, because I think either Drew McIntyre will win the WWE Championship at Fastlane, or even maybe Bobby Lashley. You know, we talk about people that deserve to be WWE Champion. The Miz, we've ticked that off. The next one's Bobby Lashley. I want to have Bobby Lashley get his WWE Championship run, because he deserves it as well. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how John Morrison plays into it. There's lots of factors. There's lots of factors here. And even if it lasts 24 hours, I think WWE would be hoping to do a big number of what's going to happen when it comes to the Miz over the next 24 hours. They'd be hoping that even if it's Miz versus Drew McIntyre main event tomorrow night on Raw, they hope that would do a big number. Would it? I don't know, because I don't even know if people pay attention that much to that kind of stuff anymore. But it's interesting, and there's a lot of ramifications. As I mentioned, Drew McIntyre, I don't think he's going to be without a title for very long, because either Fastlane or WrestleMania, he's winning the title. He is winning the title. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And they're going to have to pay off this MVP and Bobby Lashley influence, and the fact that Lashley lost the US Championship says to me that they had something big planned for him. That would say to me that he's going to, maybe Bobby Lashley's going to become WWE Champion as well. So there's lots of exciting stuff to get involved in that. So thank you guys very much for tuning in to the watch along and to this stream. If you have enjoyed this kind of content, be sure to smash a like on the like button. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Click that notification bar. As I mentioned, we do daily videos talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community that's growing here at Wrestle News 365. As I mentioned, we do daily videos, we do watch-alongs for all big pay-per-views and events and stuff like that as well. So if you subscribe, click that notification bell, you'll be notified every time we upload a video and we go live as well. And if you want to contribute to the channel, super chats are still open. You can click the $ and contribute to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or have you come across this stream today. Hope you enjoyed Elimination Chamber.